Today we're having a look at Vault 75 and its wild experiment to perfect human genetics. It was located here underneath the Malden High School, so if you've ever visited this location and not decided to go down to the basement, you've been missing out. Now, it's currently occupied by some unfriendly folk. Let's head straight on in and see. It also contains the Science bobblehead and a grognak comic, so you'll certainly want to clear the entire place out. It's a pretty easy dungeon, and there's a lot of really interesting stories on the terminal. Fun fact, if you are at any point in the game against the Brotherhood of Steel with any faction, you'll actually find them here fighting the Gunners, perhaps for their survival or just to clear out a really nice vault. Maybe they're wanting to relive what McNamara did out in New Vegas. Let's have a look at the admissions terminal as you walk in. It's currently occupied by Gunners though, so well, you're in for a fight. There's no negotiating with these ones. Press release. For immediate release, Vault-Tec to subsidise enrolment for Malden families, Washington DC. In response to the growing national concern for the safety of our children in the event of a nuclear attack, Vault-Tec officials have cooperated with the local government in Malden, Massachusetts to provide subsidised enrolment fees for any families wishing to sign up residency in Vault 75. The newly opened school is attached to the Malden's elementary school, ensuring a swift evacuation should attack come during class time. Safeguarding the future has always been our priority, said a Vault-Tec spokesperson. The opening of Vault 75 will give extra peace of mind, knowing that the children of Malden will be safe even if the worst comes to pass. Obviously, their parents wouldn't be able to make it there in time, so you get where this is going. Enrollment. Vault-Tec has authorised special discounts and subsidies for qualifying families. This special offer can only be extended to families meeting the following requirements. 1 or more children enrolled are under the age of 15. 2. The enrolled children must attend public school within the town of Malden. 3. The group must include no more than 2 adults per qualifying child. Please note that Vault 75 also permits the individual enrollment of children for families which cannot afford to also enroll a parent or guardian. Special admission protocols. Upon activation of Vault 75, all residents must be subjected to standard admission protocols, details of which can be found in the Vault-Tec personal handbook. Once residents have been verified and sanitised, children under the age of 17 are to be taken to the atrium. They will meet with the overseer who will provide orientation. All other residents are to be taken to the holding area to await their briefing from the head of security, aka parents, teachers, anyone that was obviously over the age of 17. They weren't going to have a good time. So you can see a load of the people that were, brought in. Stephen, Ashley, David, Michael, Caleb, Joey, Elliot, and Emery, and a few others. Okay, so now that we've got that down, looks a wee bit like Vault 111, you go in, the orientation, they all sort of start off the same, but then things take a dark turn. Let's head on down the wee elevator ride. It also starts the quest, Vault 75, where we get to explore it. It completes once you read the Overseer's Terminal. You don't have to read it, you just have to open it, and boom, you complete the quest. So, the layout of this confused me the first time I did it, but now, doing this guide, it's pretty easy. I say as if I haven't visited this about 100 times since the first time. So, this is the center point. There's 3 doors, one to the Overseers, one to the lab, and obviously one to get back out here. You need the lab access card, and I'm going to show you exactly where to get that. Heading through the little service tunnels will lead you into the atrium. There isn't too much outside of some suitcases, maybe an ammo box here and there. So in terms of main loot, it's a lot of just general junk. But hey, if you're a loot goblin like me, this is paradise. You can pick up so much stuff just lying around. First aid and whatnot. But there's about a dozen gunners in this single atrium room, so you'll have to be a little careful. Now, if you take a left here out to the reactor, they actually put the play park here. Strange placement, but I guess if they didn't have the room, well, this is as good as it gets. Once you climb up the stairs, you'll see a section has actually broken off. But even if you do make that jump, that gunner does not have a key, so there's no way to access the Overseer's office from here. You need to access it from the endpoint. Looking around, there's a lot of kid stuff lying around. The gunners are, well, they've made themselves a little home here. It's defensible, it's easy, and to be honest, the only problem they're ever going to have here is you showing up with the Brotherhood when they eventually show up. Little Easter eggs can be found dotted around. A few Gary references to that vault in Fallout 3 where, well, they all look like Gary. Toy cars, blast radius games. Is that another Gary? Another one. So yeah, you'll get a lot of junk when you're here. Check all the bedrooms out. Grab what you can before moving on to the classroom where there's a little readable terminal. It sits nestled over here. This will give us a bit of an idea. Up top land heroes. There was once a little girl named Sue and a little boy named Roy. Sue and Roy grew up in this very special place called Vault 75. They learned and trained and played there. How they trained. Sue and Roy were both growing up big and strong when one day Sue and Roy were asked to visit the Overseer. "What's wrong, Overseer?" asked Sue. "Why are you crying, Overseer?" said Roy. "It's just awful," cried the Overseer, wiping a tear from her eye. "Have you children ever heard of Up Top Land?" Sue and Roy blinked and shook their head. "What's that, Overseer?" they asked. "Oh, it's a terrible place," began the Overseer. And she told the children about Up Top Land. She told them about the people living there, how they weren't safe or strong like the children of Vault 75. Monsters attacked them, and evil bandits stole their food, and it was no place for little children to grow up. No, not at all. "Those poor people," exclaimed Sue. "Why does nobody help them?" wondered Roy. "That's just it, children," the Overseer told them. "They need someone big and strong to protect them." "Who will help them?" Sue and Roy asked. "One day, children, you will," said the Overseer. "That's why you must do your best at classes and training every day so you can grow up big and strong. Go make Up Top Land a happy and safe place for the poor people that live there." Sue and Roy smiled at that, ran off to their lessons, eager to learn. Now you can look at the K8s. There was no lesson plan there, or, well, anywhere. Okay, so the indoctrination begins, but to what end? Again, if you jump across, you can't access that door, so it's best at this point you just drop back down. Because there was a section that we didn't go near. And I'm not talking about the bathrooms here that we kind of totally walked by. I always open these just in case there's something going on. So this is how you progress into the next section. The English caught up with me there. And now you're in to this bit.
Don't have the card.
So we don't have the card, no problem. We can wander ourselves down into here. Where again you find a few gunners. Taking your way into the right. Another bathroom with another gunner. This one usually comes out when the fighting starts, so you'll never get to see that they're actually sitting in the cubicle. I kind of like that feature. I really like that feature, but you'll never see it again, which is a bit of a shame, but sure. You can see the treadmills where they were going to make these into the perfect... I thought soldiers in the beginning, because of the armory and all the training that they would come under. These weapons are a little randomized depending on your level. So we've got this, which reminds me a lot of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, where you got the training course. So someone did it in 45 seconds, 37, 28, and 25. Let's see how I do.
Course in 3, 2, 1, begin.
You really don't have to do this, by the way. This is completely optional.
Course completed.
Yeah, we can have a wee look at our time here. A lot of people think the Gunner Commander has the item on it. I've made that mistake and walked away quite a few times. No, the lab access card's actually in the tool case, so you don't have to kill her if you're doing like a pacifist run or something. That maybe would be useful. There's other junk items just strewn about here. It looks like it was a much larger location. Maybe there was a few other courses over to the side there. They made do and build a mini city underneath in the vault. Rather impressive if you ask me. A lot of excavation. It's a wonder a lot of this didn't collapse. I'm guessing the ground must have been pretty good for it. Or lots of concrete, lots of reinforcement. Alright, let's wander our way back out. And we'll take a left. So, this accesses the little crossroads, as I call it. Get yourself some ammo. and the Overseers is to the right. If you want to go to screening, which is the way we came in, well, you can go out that way. And that's you. If you don't want to continue, you don't have to. Maybe you've run out of ammo, health, and you want to come back a little stronger. That's your out if it's proven a little too difficult. You can see this is where the lab was, so the observation is above the armory that we were at previously. Just head straight across through everywhere, and you'll find this gunner hiding behind here. He's the one with the admin card. We'll snatch that from him.
There we go.
Science bobblehead is now ours. Always be prepared to explain the hows and whys. Get one extra guess when hacking. And all the other good stuff lying around. They won't be hostile to you until you actually approach this room, so you can't, you know, they're bulletproof glass. They aren't going to worry about you. Now, as we wander our way out, we're not completely finished because there's a few other things that we want to have a little look-see at. As we wander around here. See, it all connects into a lower section here where they were observing. And the terminal that I was going for is actually on this side. Right over here. See how it can be a little hard to find sometimes? Assistant's terminal, let's have a look. Registered assistant James and Ronit. Testing schedule. We've got all the names here. And then testing guidelines, null. And then private. If your name is not Rohit or James, then butt out. Hi James. 1534 hours. I was able to mess up the scheduling program. The system won't expect us to test anyone after lunch for a few days. If you're right about the Overseer having helpers, I don't think anyone's noticed. Anyway, this will give us some time to get ready without prying eyes. You can leave me messages in this terminal too if you need. Should be pretty secure now. We can start smuggling ammo in here. No one should find out if we're pinching a bullet or two at the same time from the range. Still need to figure out a good fuse, but it'll be a while until we get enough gunpowder in from the range before that matters. Resistance. What do you think we're up against? Anyway, worst case, all the superiors we've ever seen graduate. That's not comforting. I really doubt it though. I'm almost positive they've just got geeks up there, maybe even just robots. Depending on the robots, it might take the up top grads. Yeah, I'm not worried though. There can't be as many of them as there are of us, and they're basically training us to be able to overpower them. We won't know until we know, I guess. I guess we're gonna have to go up there for real, or we're gonna have to go up there real soon. James, have you thought about what we should do with the little kids? If we hit the door during nap time, they should be safe. We should make sure everyone pushes forward as much as possible. Hope that'll work. We should probably have a few stay behind just to keep an eye on them. Good idea. We can trust Alma, right? Why don't you talk to her during her testing appointment tomorrow? She's in. So you can see that they're organising a little bit of a resistance. And silly me happened to walk by the terminal, which is just sitting over here. Wait, what? So from the assistance terminal, yeah, you just walk up here to the left. Sometimes it can lead you on a little goose chase here, but it's just above the treadmills. The researcher's terminal. Let's have a read. Test protocol, Arabic aptitude. So this station exists to measure and increase aerobic ability and cardiovascular health of test subjects. As the treadmill operator adjusts the incline and speed to reach and sustain target rate in the subject, once the target rate's been sustained for 60 seconds, gradually increase duress until peak heart rate has reached or exceeded. Heart rate guide from the ages. Side effects. Unacceptable. Cease if risks arise. Cardiac arrest, death. Acceptable. Muscle strain, nausea, vomiting, loss of consciousness. Notes. Nina won't believe it. I'm actually on the research team. We always thought some grown-ups must stay in the vault to help the Overseer run things, even if we never saw them. I was right. Not everyone has to go to the outside world. They said I'd do more good here, and I couldn't be happier. I wish there was some way she could see that I'm still here, still able to watch her. She'll graduate in 2 years. Maybe they'll put her on the research team too, if her scores are high enough. To be young. It's only been a few months since graduation. I already feel so much mature than the kids I'm monitoring every day. Rohit and James both still talk about taking over the vault like they think nobody's listening. Robbie and Becca still sneak off to huff propellant. We see that too. They'll never make it onto the research team like I did. I'm just glad I still can keep an eye on Nina. She's not doing too great in her scores though. She's never much of an academic like me. Her physical scores are among the best in the group though, and I'm sure she'll graduate to a good team up top. I just hope I can see her before she goes up top. Passing notes. Supervisor Bissell lost some papers from his clipboard this morning. He was pretty anxious about them. He spent most of the morning searching, then pulled me aside to look for them while he went to meet with the overseer. He really doesn't want anyone to know they went missing. Turns out they got sucked into a vent. I could hear the pages flapping in there. There's no way I could get them unless I go downstairs, but I saw Rohit fish them out of the vent down there. I'm going to tell Bessel I couldn't find them. Shooting range maintenance. Range is really getting run down. I've asked the overseer whether we can have some supplies brought in to refurbish it, but was told we should work with what we've got. Then she reminded me that it wasn't even my station. I didn't think it would be a big deal to have her ask some of the up-top graduates to bring supplies, but I guess they're really busy and there's always some risk involved with her going outside. Maybe she'll ask at next year's graduation when she takes the new graduates through the surface door. So obviously even the researchers didn't really know what was going on, because we're about to find out exactly what's going on. Now heading back out, I love how this video started with it's not that confusing, but then I got confused finding the terminal there. It goes to show that sometimes, even making guides, you have these wee moments. Chief Scientist's Terminal. Prime Directive. Welcome to Vault 75 as outlined in your briefing packet. Vault 75 is part of a top secret military program. You've been selected for professional credentials, experience and commitment to the improvement of the human genome. It's of the utmost importance you follow the protocols herein. Mission is Vault 75 above all is the refinement of human genetics. Your scientific staff will operate according to the research schedule set forth by Schlitt, Braun and Lambe. You will be working with an overseer with a background as a military officer, and the overseer will be responsible for training, maintaining the subject population you will be working with. It is important that you and your overseer maintain a healthy working relationship. Experiment Extract. Vault 75 represents an unprecedented opportunity to test our hypothesis that the human genome can be improved at a rapid rate through the combination of selective breeding, hormonal treatments, genetic modification, and an accelerated generational cycle. The experiment objectives are detailed in the handbooks that have been provided. This experiment is intended to be carried over multiple generations. As such, there may be unanticipated research opportunities that present themselves. Such diversions from provisional protocol are permitted at the discretion of the chief scientist. Staff replenishment. Because Vault 75 represents a long-term experiment in a closed environment, it will become important to replenish staff periodically. This should be done by selective recruitment of outgoing subjects. We anticipate a certain percentage of residents' population to exhibit high intellect scores, but insufficient physical capabilities to be qualified for genome harvesting. These subjects may be, at Overseer and Chief Scientist discretion, offered the opportunity to join staff. Those who refuse should be disposed of in the same manner as an unqualified outgoing subject. Please note all internally recruited staff be kept in strict separate from the population for at least 15 years to prevent members of the general population recognizing former residents among the staff. Only the most trusted and capable staff members should be admitted to the genome laboratories. It is the responsibility of the chief scientist to choose very carefully and ensure they are sufficiently trained for their roles. Genetic harvesting. Outgoing subjects aged 18 years with aggregate scoring of superior or excellent across key physical, mental and social traits must be escorted to the genomics laboratory. Processing should be done on an individual basis with great care. Remember, with successful subjects will likely be capable of overpowering staff. Reiterate to the subject a brief round of vaccinations is necessary and avoid arousing any suspicion otherwise. Each subject should have a file for processing which indicates which specific organic material needs to be preserved for future testing. Be sure that these directions are strictly adhered to and specimens stored quickly. Genomics report. Donors. Overall harvest was exceptional this year, lots of superior ratings in the physical categories. Many of our vital organ initiatives are paying dividends. Pain thresholds have been mostly solved, a solved problem for years now, and we're finally getting past issues like cardiac arrest under heavy duress. The genetic material we're gaining this year should help the next generation meet goals we thought we still are a decade or more off. Some concerns about aggression levels. We've had a few cases of psychological breakdowns due to stress over the years, but incidence was much higher in this group. Going to recommend to synthesize some new tranquilizers just to stock up. Food supply remains the best delivery method for general population, but should be concerned about future with science staff too. Recruitment. Only needed one recruit to the scientific staff this year, with Washington joining the genetics team to help out there. Subject's physical scores were low and he has consistently shown good problem solving and critical thinking. Overseer has concerns about his attachment to some of the younger members of the population. I'm not too worried. His psychological profile shows he's very suggestible. We'll keep him on the observation deck long enough for those he had personal relationships to graduate out of the population. That will give us some time to acclimate him to the experimental protocols without conflict. We just need him to keep him in the dark until then. Disposed. We had a very low disposal overhead thanks to excellent harvesting ratio. Just 74% of overall graduating class. Incinerations will be done in the week. And good first task for Washington before we begin the real work. Archived records. Need manual entry. Alright. There's a little advanced door over here. Unlocked, it can take you into, well, presumably where the scientists would have slept. You can have a little look around. Nothing too fancy. Where things get really interesting is when you get up to here. You have a gunner commander sitting ready for you. A little teddy sitting in the chair. Maybe the overseer was trying to have a conversation. You can open the remote control door to his bedroom at the back there. Yeah, and you can also open the safes. That'll finish this up for you. Let's have a look at the operations manual. Residence admission. Personal officers are responsible for admitting residents and obeying standard protocol for sanitization and scans. Research staff is to assist as needed, but otherwise remain in their wing. Adults aged 17 or older will be isolated and disposed of by the head of security. So, again, parents, older children, teachers, they were never meant to make it. Children under 17 are to be taken directly to the atrium. As overseer, you're responsible for introducing the children to the caretaker robots and their sleeping facilities. Research protocols will not begin until the second week of containment. It is recommended you participate directly in routine story times each evening. Family policy. Vault 75 has been built within the township of Malden, and all families with children aged 5 to 16 have been offered subsidised admission to the programme. This should maximise the number of residents able to report for admission in a crisis event. In the event that it becomes necessary, it is preferable to allow potential subjects to remain with their families in the bulkhead area over allowing adults to accompany subjects to the atrium. These subjects will not be admitted to the general population. Some distress is expected in the early days of internment. Please refer to the child care consolation protocols if guidance is needed. Duties. Personnel and security staff have been assigned to Vault 75 and provided with standard instructions that are found in your operations manual. Research personnel are to remain in their designated wing and are isolated from making physical contact with residents except under special circumstances. New research personnel may be selected annually from the population at overseer discretion. Residents are to be informed that these people have vacated the vault. Directives. Age 18 or over must be removed from the general population annually. Residents who have exhibited genetic promise are to be preserved for genome harvesting and reintegration. Residents of average genetic promise but high intelligence and docility may be recruited to the research staff. All of the other residents are to be removed, or all other residents are to be culled. Research staff is responsible for cultivating embryo replacements to maintain consistent resident population numbers. Vault 75 is to remain sealed until an all clear is issued by Vault Tech. Oh, so they cultivated embryos. Wow. Annual turnover. Beginning 1 year after initial containment, children over the age of 18 will be removed. It'll be done annually on a date specified by the overseer and chief scientist. Recommended this graduation be treated as an important tradition inside the vault. Appropriate ceremonies should be conceived of and performed by overseer staff without going subjects being removed one by one from the main living area. Once separated from the general population, subjects with aggregate ratings of excellent and superior are to be led to the genomics laboratory for processing. Those with excellent or superior intellect ratings but not aggregate will be offered positions as overseer of research staff per discretion. All other subjects are disposed of. Yikes. The log. New researcher. Worried about the new recruit. He's supposed to be on a simple observation duties and closely monitored until the subject knows, or he knows in the population has been processed. I know we've done this many times before, but something about this one feels wrong. Not sure I should have let myself be talked into it. Nursery capacity. Having the problem in the nursery, we are full as we are in IVFs. But introducing more residents to the population is going to be problematic. I'd prefer to wait until the next turnover. We'll have to discuss. Fire in the archives. Damn it all, some kind of wiring issue caused a fire in the archive. Lost some of the hardware that I'm told will be difficult to repair, if not impossible. Science lost a lot of historical research data. Though I'm told we can get some junior staff started on transcribing hard copies. Some of the locks failed when the fire got bad, worrying, but turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Science staff nearby got in and stopped the blaze quickly. If the lock hadn't have failed, they myself or one of the senior scientists would have had to manually open it. Status. Genome preservation online. Tell you what, that would explain why the Brotherhood would have wanted access to this place. The safe's now open. If you open the door here, there is a master lock safe under here, but not to worry. Overseer's key will open it. And sadly, there's just a few bits of items. But more importantly, there's a grognak, the barbarian here. Demon slaves in Demon Sands. Oh yeah. Little steamer trunk for your troubles. Of course, you got the bobblehead as well. Grab what items you can, and again, if you want to venture down here, you can open up both these doors now with the admin access card. Doesn't give you any extra items and doesn't let you explore much else, but I guess that handcuffs, yardstick, a can is where the overseer would have just been chilling, so all the kids and everyone would see that, you know, he is indeed there, or she, depending on who they decided to hire that year. Running back through, you can head out to the elevator that will take you home. Now let's talk about location. Malden is located from Sanctuary. There's Lexington, and you head east. And when you eventually reach the likes of the Taffington Boathouse or Covenant, you make your way to the town of Malden. And then you find Vault 75. It will change once you've discovered it, so bear that in mind. Although, to be honest, this is it's very much a one and done vault. You came, you saw, once you've read the terminals, got the bobblehead and the grognak, that's pretty much you. If anything, getting the XP for the quest is probably one of the most advantageous things. Plus killing gunners, looting all their weapons and armor. What's not to love about that? Also, the stairs over here, yeah. I did that a few times. Do not try and stubbornly jump over this. It doesn't really work. And you can see that the access point into the vault was actually out the back here, and it continues into the parking lot. So, thank you all for watching. I will see you all in the next episode.